Welcome back. My next guest is outraged by the entire impeachment farce and joins me now with more. House Republican Whip, Congressman Steve Scalise. Congressman, thanks for being here. I want to start...
Judge, great to be with you.
Oh, good one. Thank you. It's good to have you on. I want to start with the engrossment ceremony, which I thought was fascinating, as they marched solemnly through from one House chamber to the upper chamber with these articles of impeachment. They seemed so serious about it, but I got the sense that they were high-fiving each other after this whole thing was over. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, and how embarrassing was it to see, as Pelosi said for weeks, we've got to hurry this thing, and the whole Western civilization is at stake if we don't remove this president. And then she sits through the entire holidays on the papers, trying to play games, trying to act like she's a senator, totally gets the Heisman, so to speak, from Mitch McConnell, where ultimately he says you're irrelevant to this process. And then they have this juvenile ceremony where they're handing out these pens as if it's some kind of trophy ceremony. I mean, the whole thing has been a sham. It's been a witch hunt, and I think it shows. It's very personal. It's only about trying to hurt this president from winning again because they're not happy with the 2016 election, and they have no case. There was no crime. That was clear through our trial when every one of their star witnesses asked under oath, can you name an impeachable offense? No. Was there any bribery? No. That was their witnesses, by the way, Judge.
And during this month that, the House was off and during which she held those articles of impeachment, all of you went home. I mean, what was the reaction of people, not just in your district, but what were other Congress people hearing from their constituents when they got home?
I tell you, you've seen it even in the polling where swing voters are furious with this. And they're asking, especially all of those Democrats that ran 2 years ago saying they were going to be different. They were going to work with everybody, work across the aisle, vote against Pelosi. And every one of them is a puppet for Pelosi. And they're being asked in their swing districts, what have you been doing and why haven't you been focusing on things that matter to me, like lowering prescription drugs, like working with the other party to build infrastructure, secure the border? None of those things are happening because of this obsession that Pelosi's had with impeachment. It actually cost him a Democrat when Jeff Van Drew switched parties to Republican because he had enough with this impeachment. And by the way, his reaction when he went back home was incredibly positive. People thanking him for basically working for them, trying to work with this president to get things done.
Let's talk about those 31 in the districts that were Trump-leaning districts, districts where Trump won. I mean, isn't Pelosi concerned about them? And how do you think they're going to fare in the next election? Because they're up in 2020 also.
Yeah, and those are the ones that Pelosi really made walk the plank because a lot of those Democrats didn't want to do impeachment at all. It was really the AOC kind of far left wing of the Democrat Party. In fact, it was AOC's very tweet the weekend before Pelosi came out for impeachment where AOC in essence threatened the Democrats in the majority saying, why aren't they impeaching the president? And then lo and behold, days later, Pelosi says, let's impeach the president. So I think we know, who's wagging the train over here. So anyway, the bottom line is those swing district Democrats really don't have anything to go back home and say they've done except harass and try to impeach a president. They're not going to remove him from office. And ultimately, the voters are going to decide the president this November. I think people are fed up with this personal politics attack style that Pelosi's been using. Well,
you and the rest of the House, I mean, now you're done with this. It's now in the upper chamber. It's now in the Senate. I mean, there's got to be a certain relief that you have, all of you in the House, from this waste of time, essentially. And as you say, it's trying to redo the 2016 and put their finger on the scale for the 2020 election. I mean, will you guys have a chance, guys, women, all of you, have a chance to be able to start working on some things for the American people? Or don't you think Pelosi's interested in that leading up to the election anyway?
Judge, I haven't seen a willingness for her to move on and actually focus on real priorities of families yet because, look, over the break, one of the other things that she and Nadler and a few of the other impeachment fanatics were saying is that they want to impeach the president again. I mean, it's like they are the party of impeachment. And again, we passed a package of bills out of committee unanimously, every Democrat and every Republican, to lower drug prices. Families in America today would be paying lower drug prices if Pelosi had put that bill on the floor. It would have passed overwhelmingly. President Trump would have signed it. That's not law today because of this obsession she has with impeachment. So it's costing hardworking families back home. And I think you're seeing them being fed up with this whole personal, this petty obsession that they have against the president.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens in November. Congressman Steve Scalise, thanks so much for taking time out of your evening. Take care.
Great being back with you, Judge.
All
Thanks.
right. Thank you.